Look at the chunks of walls that it would have destroyed, right? And look within the church. If you're disabled, you would come up on this ramp right here, if you can see this through the rubble, and you just walk right into the church. Now, these church doors would have accepted so many people in times of crisis. Now, today, Kareem's Quest is going to do a special road chat where I'm driving through Lacovia and Holland Bamboo. Now, this is the famous St. Thomas Anglican Church. This would have been around for centuries, and it would have gone through Charlie, it would have gone through Hurricane Gilbert. However, Hurricane Melissa ravaged the church. Now, let's look at how it broke down just the walls, and keep in mind that the bandwidth of the hurricane would have been passing through this area extensively. So, you know, you're looking at a lot of the boards that have been broken, and if you look just around the area, you can see the damage that is being done. I have to be careful how I walk. You know, all the mosaic has been destroyed basically. Now look at the chunks of walls that are, wait, now I have to figure out how I'm going to walk carefully. Look at the chunks of walls that it would have destroyed, right? And look within the church. Look at the destruction that would have taken place in the church itself. You know what I mean? On a day like today, well, you don't know this, but today is a Sunday that I'm shooting. And of course, you'd have had the pew here. But if you look inside this church, you see that the entire roof was gone. And you look at, you know, the organ is destroyed. Every single element that you can think of is destroyed. Now, remember, you know, I'm encouraging people to please subscribe to my channel so we can grow the channel together and we can grow the community together, because I do get as much of this information as possible out to the Jamaicans who especially are living abroad and can't see what's happening, and some of the Jamaicans who are here but they can't necessarily see what's happening either, all right? So I'm trying to get to that 50,000 subscribers, and I definitely need your support to do so. I thank you so much, you know, because it's a small channel and we need to put out good content like this, you know, I mean, to just show Jamaica in a fair and a true sense, because you can also find very encouraging content and motivating content in terms of Jamaican business owners and people are even who are trying to rebuild after this hurricane, right? You can look for all those stories on my page. Now, if you look inside, let's look at what's happening right there. Good. So a lot of damage, a lot of board. I mean, the Anglican community has not been able to necessarily come through as yet and start to do some cleaning up, but this is going to be extensive cleaning up, right? Extensive cleanup. Now, in the background, I can hear somebody preaching. There's a church that's adjacent to this property. You know, people are still trying to keep their spirits in high hope. I mean, here's a little kid that's over there, so let me see if I can carry you somewhere else closer, right? Can you imagine how strong the winds? Now, they say that a category 5 comes with 185 miles per hour winds. Good. And that is the wind that is just lifting up all of this, moving all of this. Now, these are well-built infrastructure. This is not something that is just, you know, just simple building that you can say, well, in modern technology, you know, things might not be built with the same strength that older technology is built with, but this is actually well-built infrastructure. This has been here for hundreds of years. So let me show you around some more. You can see the zinc. Luckily, the graves are not damaged, you know, beyond a certain point. On a typical Sunday morning, right, the congregation would park probably, you know, to the side at the school, and then people would just walk over, and if you're disabled, you would come up on this ramp right here, if you can see this through the rubble, and you just walk right into the church. Now, these church doors would have accepted so many people in times of crisis as a point of refuge, and to know that the building was just demolished, you know what I mean? These are one of the old buildings that we also try to preserve, you know what I mean? We have several of them throughout Jamaica, and this is one of them that we try to preserve because it has serious historical significance. And, you know what I mean, to just see what it is It is gone down to, I don't know if the Anglican community, if they are going to plan to renovate it, if they are going to plan to rebuild. I don't know. You know what I mean? So many people right now are just in a different frame of mind. Not everybody is in the same frame of mind. Some, like I talked to one person and he said he has not visited this property since the hurricane because it's just too heartrending. He's actually living at a friend's house. So a lot of people, you know, it's a lot to deal with. Now, if you look at even here and you see the glass, yeah, you recognize that, you know what I mean, a lot of it was damaged. I mean, and the damage says it all, to be honest with you. Once you see it, you can tell that the damage says it all. Now, Lacovia, when you go and watch this road chat video, you're going to see me driving through Lacovia and talking about Lacovia. Lacovia was definitely hit rough. You get me, in terms of the power lines and the trees in Lacovia, they get hit really hard. So, you know, this is just another one, you know, of the places, and this was a monumental place. Like, I remember just posting this on my social media pages, and you can find me on my social media pages as well, any one of them. And everybody could identify this. I was just driving by and just took a video, and everybody identified this church. So to know that this is such a big landmark, and to see a landmark like this be reduced to rubbles, you know, it is something that I don't think anybody will ever forget. Now, they just restored this right here, and this church bell and tower, you know, the bell still stands, right? And this was restored last year, but the bell still stands, and that's a good thing. You know, everybody can know that church bell when you hear it ring at a certain time. You know, it's kind of reminiscent of childhood growing up for many of us. Because on a Sunday morning, we'd be out, you know, in our church best. Them say dress up in a Sunday best. But this is the roof right here. It just ravished the roof. You know what I mean? So can you imagine if people were even seeking refuge here, thinking that, you know, some of these church buildings would have withstood so many things? Because this is basically old-time brick and mortar. So anyway, you can watch the rest of my road chat video, see me driving through these places, and, you know, you can, you know what I mean, just get some semblance of what is happening. But this is definitely one of the places that was hit the hardest in Lacovia in terms of on the main road. You know, I don't even know where to walk. Like, I have to be so cautious and gingerly stepping on these boards. See, take me a little time, step on these boards. And by the way, I appreciate all of you who leave comments and the well wishes. And remember, you can go to my website. You can read upon, you know, different news about what is happening with Hurricane Melissa, as well as you can find great places to go in Jamaica. I am recommending in my newsletters, and you can sign up for my newsletters. I tell people where you can currently go in Jamaica if you want to, you know, spend your vacation, enjoy yourselves, because there are still some places that weren't hit and they're open and they're operational. And I tell you all those places on my website, but more precisely, if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get weekly suggestions of places you can go in Jamaica, you can enjoy, and as well as I do, nice cultural articles are featured on my website, so you can learn more about Jamaica's culture, our different cuisine, and how to cook a lot of our cuisine. Let me just go and take my way out. Let me see, take my way out, walking on a beam. I can tell that. And you always have to be looking out for nails. And this Anglican church took a beating, and this is a good context to show people like how strong the winds were, because if this can happen to the church, like, you can tell that is like the old-time brick and mortar type thing. And this is Holland Bamboo that we're entering now. It doesn't look the same. It looks basically unrecognizable. But like, I have a road chat that is on Holland Bamboo, and I'll try to show you clips of it, so you can see what this place was before the hurricane. And you're looking at things like dengue, you're looking at things like yellow fever, you know. So after any catastrophe, you always have those kind of potential outbreak for health hazards. For those of you who are interested in knowing what Lacovia St. Elizabeth looks like, you know, we have people that try to work on them roof. A lot of trees are down. There is a gas station, a prominent gas station that's on the left, that is no longer in existence, right? Or is it working? I don't know, right? It looked like the pump looked like it working. So the roof gone for the gas station, but the pump looked like it's still working right there. Yes. So we're continuing on Lacovia main road, and so if you look to the right, I mean, I knew this as a famous spot where you buy your food and your jerk chicken at the night them. So the community looks a bit, scattered right now. If you look at all the trees, them you can see, the leaves are gone from all of the trees, and you can see the poles are all tilted. I see a dead carcass. There's a goat right there. Good. So there are so many dead animals, still present. Even though I just spot one and two. You can see trees were down, and you can imagine how impossible this was, because right as the hurricane passed, this was the main road to get access to so many communities in Black River and so many communities in Westmoreland. So if you look around, you can see the trees and you can see what they look like. I mean, nature, they will bring them back. I mean, these roots are still strong, even though you can't see many branches and leaves are not present. But, the community looks a bit scattered. If you look at even some of the homes and some of the shelters, then you can, you see the ravages of the hurricane, and you can feel it. Some houses did hold up, like that house to the left, right? That house did hold up, and what I mean, I guess we have to look at like different building permits, what I mean, and different building conditions. And if you look at the road, there are a lot of poles that are down. So this wind would have been so strong that it's blowing down all these poles, especially like even the older, the newer poles, them, which are the wooden ones, even those blew down. So if you look across and you see the houses, what I mean, it just, wow, it looks really rough. Now, approaching me on my right is this old time shop, which would have had a house on top of it. Somehow the house withstood it. I mean, the roof might be gone, but the house withstood it, right? So for those of you who know what is an old time shop, I mean, those are the pillars of many of our communities that we are from. Can buy your goods, them and everything. So this is the main road that we're on, and there's this Anglican church, and I couldn't believe it. I had posted something about this Anglican church weeks ago before the hurricane came, and everybody remembered the Anglican church, and I was so shocked that everybody could identify Lacovia based off this church. Now, on my right, you can see where it just crushed so many things in its path. Like you can see the destruction that was caused, what I mean? It just ravished a lot of the places. So, needless to say, it's not easy, and I mean, this is a church right over here, and this Anglican church took a beating, and this is a good context to show people like how strong the winds were, because if this can happen to the church, like you can tell that that is like the old time brick and mortar type thing. So when it can blow down something like that, you can just imagine what was happening to the other houses. Now you're experiencing this in the night, what I mean, you're experiencing this in the day straight into the night. It's not the easiest of experiences. This board house all up, right? It's not the easiest of experiences. And these people, they have lost their livelihoods. What I mean? I don't know what building back, is all about. I mean, so many people have their animals. If you see a little goat right there, right? So many people have their animals, and they would have lost their animals in the interim. So it is not the easiest of experiences. On another road chat, by the way, with Kareem's question, you can find other great road chats. Like I did a road chat on Black River before it was devastated by the hurricane, and so you would see the beauty of Black River. But no, I mean, things just kind of rough. I don't see a lot of people on the road, by the way. What I mean? So, I can tell that you can tell morale is low just by looking at the place. What I mean? You don't see a lot of liveliness, out and about, and this would normally be a vibrant place to be, right? This is really somewhere where every time when you pass it, you use it as a marker, right? And you know that it's the entrance point also to Holland Bamboo. Now, Holland Bamboo was a major access point that was blocked off. People had to come down here with a chainsaw. People slept in their cars. Right after the hurricane passed, people slept in their cars, and this is Holland Bamboo that we're entering now. It doesn't look the same. It looks basically unrecognizable. But like I have a road chart that is on Holland Bamboo, and I'll try to show you clips of it so you can see what this place was before the hurricane. But this is what it looks like now. This used to be even a shaded area as well, and you would have people on both the left and the right, vendors, they're selling their stuff. And you know what I mean, you just stop, you support them, and you drink some jelly coconut and enjoy yourself. Now you have the health ministry that's coming down, and they're getting the police escort, and they're passing us because of course, you know, you have to be setting up so many things. And again, my heart goes out to especially those who are disabled, because they can't even get to the supply areas. They will have to send out people to the supply areas. Now the bamboos will grow back. You know what I mean? Holland bamboo has been ravished in terms of not like this by a hurricane, but you know what I mean, the bamboos have already, you know, been broken down already in the past and grown back. So we still know that it's going to grow back and still form its canopy over the area. But you can see so much sunlight. In the past, you know, all of this would have been shaded area that we're driving through. And, you know, this is not the case. So anyway, I was so grateful when this passageway was cleared, because health aid workers could finally get access to the people of Westmoreland and the people of you know, St. Elizabeth and Southern St. Elizabeth as well. So you know, it's just been rough. Like I went to this place called New River. You can check out that video. I went to this place called New River, and it is inundated with water, and stagnant water at that. And that is where the real challenge come from, because when it is stagnant water, what that means is that you're going to have so many diseases that can come off that, because now you're going to have, you know, mosquitoes, and you're looking at things like dengue, you're looking at things like yellow fever, you know. So after any catastrophe, you always have those kind of potential outbreak for health hazards, and we have to now be in the look for that. And I can just imagine how, you know, how overwhelmed the hospitals are going to be and the clinics are going to be, because when we went to one community, we couldn't drive further. Like literally, we could not drive further inland. We couldn't pass the water anymore. That's how dangerous that was. And even the residents, because we have been dropping off care packages to specific families who we have been in contact with, and they tell us exactly what they want, you know, because we don't want to just go down there with water and some people say, hey, I can get access to water, you know what I mean? So you want to get specific help, you know, in terms of, you know, what you can do. Now some people will have to just drop off at a general center, but for those of us who have our family members and our close friends, and you know, we can find a way to get them the specific support that they need. So this is what you're looking at, the ravages of this hurricane, and it was a category 5 hurricane. We're talking about just wind speeds of 185, right? Um, and it's not the easiest of things, miles per hour, and it's not the easiest of things. You know what I mean? It just ravaged this part of the area, and you have so many farmers who are in these communities, and they are so reliant on their crops, especially St. Elizabeth. We call it the bread basket. I mean, that's the one parish in Jamaica that provides so much of the island with some of the best produce, for certain the best watermelon and cantaloupe, right? So, you know, these farmers would have been adversely affected by the hurricane, and that would have caused a significant dent to their income and the economy. And even the government has said that, listen, the the effect on the economy is, you know, really catastrophic, right? Billions have been lost because of this, and because so many people can't have their jobs, and so many people won't be working, and there are going to be kids also who are, one, traumatized, two, can't get access to education, because many of the schools, and I mean, we used about like 800 schools as shelters, and many of the schools, probably 600 of them, have been damaged immensely, right? So we are going to have to be coming up with some little makeshift schools, and to see, you know what I mean, how best we can give these students some semblance of normalcy. I don't know what that's going to look like. It's just a really rough thing. If you're continuing watching up to this point, please remember to subscribe. It's free of charge, and I mean, it's a Jamaican owned and operated um, channel. So, I mean, your subscription really means a lot. So, please subscribe and, just stay tuned to further videos. I mean, Kareem's Quest is trying to get you to, so much of Jamaica and the realities of Jamaica. I wish this was not what I was broadcasting. I mean, if you look at even this gas station to my right, you can see where the roof has completely gone. So, all of this and it's closed. The gas station is literally closed. All of this can give you an idea of the wind strength, right? That was experienced here. All of this giving you an idea of how strong the wind is. If you look further out, you can see where it has, kind of just taken away much of the foliage from the land. And you can, like, areas where I could not see before, I can easily see now. Good, because extensive damage has taken place. But many people, when they talk to them say, boy, thank God for life. And that is something that you can tell that they want to keep their spirits up in the same time. So many people still say, boy, with all of this being said, thank God for life, right? All of this being said, thank God for life. So not the easiest of things. I see the pole coming down, so that people don't even have light, and many people don't have running water. JPS has a ambitious forecast to say that they're trying to get back light to all the households that would have had electricity, and within the next 2 months. That might be extremely ambitious, because when you're on the ground, the reality of being on the ground is not the easiest of things. Now, we're going to get to communities like Middle Quarters, and you remember the shrimp vendors. If you know about these places, you know the shrimp vendors. Now, on the road, there are countless amount of police vehicles going back and forth, escorting officials, escorting aid people. You know what I mean? And every light pickup that I'm looking at has lumber in it, right? And some of the pickups that I'm looking at, yes, you can see where the windshield is broken, and you can tell you can tell the stories basically. After a while looking at, you can see stories. People are fishing in water now where water wasn't before. People are using them like a spot they know to do them fishing and various things. But it's not the easiest of things when you recognize what is happening and the severity of what is happening and how it has changed people's lives forever. My heart goes out to some of the communities that are, you know, not accessible at this point. Many communities in places like Trelawney and in places like Hanover. I know that many people feel neglected now. This was another popular area you can see in the background that you can't see, but there are some humanitarian aids that are here, and they're coming out and they're trying to talk to people in the community now. A lot of homes have tarpaulin. And by the way, if you're abroad and you're wondering, what can you do? You can just start packing a barrel. I tell people that you don't have to meet the first phase. We're trying, countless people are sending down things now. This is a container that has been displaced. This is no light container, people. This has been displaced. So that makes you know how strong the wind is, right? So we're entering into the popular community of Middle Quarters. Now, you know this place for shrimp. Anybody who has ever been here, you know it for shrimp. And you can see what the light poles look like. And people, this is like, when a place like one big fire happened somewhere, this is what it looks like, right? I mean, prior to this, the greenery was so vibrant, and to see what it looks like now, it's devastating. And you have vendors are hand out their shrimp because people have to make a livelihood, right? So many vendors are saying that they're not waiting on handouts, especially as reading a piece where the vendors from what you call it, the vendors from Scott's Cove, they were out because they said, listen, they need to figure out how to make a livelihood. And I commended them so much, because it's not like they were looking for handout. They're just saying, listen, just come and support us. So, it's not the easiest of things. Some people coming from river just bathe them, wash them clothes, you know what I mean? And people have to go back to all of those things where them are wash clothes, and, them just have to be in basic survival mode. So you can just kind of imagine what is happening This community looks definitely more lively than Lacovia. So you will see vendors that are out and they're just trying. They're trying the best that they can do. As I was saying earlier, you can start packing your barrel. You can start looking at things like power banks. Those are really needed. Tarpaulin, heavy duty gloves as well. Those are needed. And I think I put some of these links in my articles that are on my website, kareemsquest.com. If you go to these, if you go to these, the link, you can look at the things that you can need and help because people go have to repair them roof. Like almost everybody that I'm seeing is walking with a piece of lumber, right? People have to try and repair them roof and the tarpaulin thing can last but for so long because we're still exposed to the elements, right? Rain is still falling, what I mean? Different things are still happening and people need to protect their goods. And many people are so afraid to even leave their houses because you have those individuals who are, unscrupulous and they are using moments like these to try and steal things from people's homes. So people still have to be thinking about the safety. A lot of people have been sleeping in their cars. I know countless friends who are sleeping in their cars because they have to be watching their home. They can't sleep in their home, so they have to sleep in their car, you know what I mean? And they want to feel a sense of safety. Now, if you look at the even middle quarter church, the roof is completely gone. The poles are down. All the poles are down, right? You're looking at the poles them now, you see countless poles are down. So even for the supermarkets and they have things in their freezers, they can't keep nothing in the freezer at a time like this. So this is what it looks like just driving down 2 weeks after the hurricane. And of course, this is the main road. So some people might say, well, it doesn't look that bad. Well, that's because this is the main road. And, when you're driving on the main road, it would have been prioritized in terms of cleaning the debris. Good, but even when I'm looking to the side, I'm seeing so much zinc and so much rubble and trees that are centuries old, what I mean, with not one leaf on it. So these things are very hard. You look at even the post office that has been ravaged. So it breaks up communication. And I remember on my platforms, people were trying to reach out to their family members and asking me to make posts for them. And luckily, this one lady from England, she could not hear from her family who were in Manchester. And finally, she sent me a message and said she finally heard from them. And it brought a peace of mind, even though things weren't perfect, but at least you know that they have life. So, countless people have been going through things traumatic because of all of this, right? Not the easiest of experiences at all. And I mean, I used to love driving through these places when I was going to my different Kareems quests, to interview owners of villas and places of attraction and hotels. And I love telling their stories. I love hearing their stories as well. And you can view, if you go to my channel and you just view, you can look and scroll through and listen to some of the stories of some of these people. Was even this one friend that I have who she was building her restaurant and she put so much work into building her restaurant and the hurricane just demolished it. It was rough when she sent me the pictures and she just sent some cry face emoji to me and I was like, I felt her pain because these are people who they are pursuing their dreams, they believe in their dreams. I remember one time I spotted her in Price Mart and she was filling up her trolley with inventory and, we're just smiling at each other because, I know the work that goes into it and I know the sacrifices that have to be made. And I always think it's very important when you can support these Jamaican small businesses because they don't have the same line of credit. They are just, operating a lot of time out of pocket and they're operating with a dream and they're investing in their country. Many people would have, just left the situation altogether while some people stay behind and try to do what they can do. So seeing stuff like that means a lot for me. I mean, all of this experience again is, it's a lot to deal with. I'm dodging pole lines as I'm driving on the road and, you know, you can, luckily I'm not seeing much carcasses of dead animals, but you can just see how the place has been completely transformed into something else. You know what I mean? St. Elizabeth just dealt with burial probably a little bit over 16 months prior to Hurricane Melissa, and to know that they have to deal with this now. You're looking even into some people business yards, and you are seeing that, it just lift up a lot of the zinc, lift up a lot of the equipment. A lot of things were just moved all around. So even as a business owner, when you're going back to your place of business the following morning, you can't even recognize anything. There's this place in Westmoreland that's called Blue Ocean Sun. And when Delva, who is the owner of the place, and him come from Belmont, right? So this is somebody, again, these people build up the communities that they come from. They don't even go into the city, much less, right? They build up back the communities that them come from and create employment opportunities. And when you saw what the winds did to his establishment, blew off the entire top floor of it, right? It was just devastating. I mean, that video, you can watch that video on my channel, and listen to his voice note. It was just so heartrending because you can hear the pain in his voice. So this is what it looks like. If you look to the left, you're going to see all those coconut trees. You know what I mean? Everything kind of gone from the top. The good thing is that they're still standing, so it tells me that the roots are firm and it will grow back and they will produce beautiful coconut jelly once more, but it's going to be a long while for the rebuilding process. Again, please remember that you can subscribe to my channel. You can also go to my website, kareemsquest.com, where I am constantly updating it with news of the aftermath of the hurricane, talking about some of the communities that are flooded, talking about some of the main areas and the main buildings that were destroyed, and showing you the before and after, because I'm trying to get that. And even at this little area right here, so people that catch clean water. People have, catch up the clean water and put them in drums. Even right now, I have some drums in the vehicle that I'm carrying because one of the families that we're carrying to say they just need clean water. They just need clean water. So for everybody, it's a little bit different. As usual, this was another Kareem's Quest, which the circumstances were different. Continue to stay tuned, and I appreciate the support. And you're always welcome to join the quest.